just shut down the tinny meter. Yes, dear. What's your question?
The question I have for you is, are you going to be here on Sunday having a show, or will you be out carousing in Plastered for St. Patrick's Day?
I'm glad you asked that question, Alice. That's a valid question. So, no, my carousing is meant to be, if it's meant to be at all, it's coming out low. My carousing, if it's meant to be at all, is meant to be on Saturday.
Okay, but
Now,
you'll be fully recovered by Sunday afternoon, you believe, at this time?
I'm always recovered by Sunday afternoon. And also, I don't expect this to be any carousing. Well, I've made policy decisions regarding carousing.
Yeah?
Yes.
I just want people to be able to plan their weekend. So if there's...
Well, I understand. So I am... No, any carousing, and it's not carousing, but there's a chance I'll be in this city Saturday. But I have told my friends who I'll be in the city with, if I'm going to be in the city, and by the way, if you guys are around, let me know. I'm not going to be long, because I will be having a lager and a light lager, and probably not too many. And not a long, I can't do this long thing. And I don't want to do it long, as a matter of fact. Al and I, we've been behaving ourselves a little better recently, and I don't want to really ruin that.
I like behaving better.
Yeah.
It makes me happy. That being said, do you feel right about celebrating St. Patrick's Day when you don't like Irish people?
Yeah. I mean, there are very few redeeming qualities that the Irish have, but one of them, hold up. Now, I have the big street cred with the Irish. I've hung out with them for decades. You know, even before I was 21, I was hanging out with Irish people in Boston. We were all hanging out together going around and very close friends, and they're fine. But the thing is that I like the Irish. I like the fact that there was no, at any of these bars that I hung out with, that anybody did, there was no judgment, really. They were, they didn't care. They didn't care. I remember one time I fell into the littlest bar. Fell into it. And my friend Dan was sitting there waiting for me, and I fell forward into the littlest bar and got up, and they threw me a drink, like, without having to ask for it. And so I like that. I like corned beef. I got into not terribly ridiculous. And by the way, this is on the All You Can Eat podcast. We talk more about this, me and Steve's show. The podcast came out tonight. Please check it out. I think you'll like it. You get into these rites of passage of dumb stuff when you're a young person. So it was like we needed a good Guinness pour, and we'd talk about it. And sometimes, as disgusting as it was, when I would feel inadequate at the oil change place, sometimes I believe I may have asked for my pour in a bit of an Irish brogue, and I so apologize for that. I would rather have made out with Paul at Sporters 1,000 times than ever known that there was a chance I did that. Oh, I am so sorry. So I say this from a place of wretchedness. What I'm done with is the whole being impressed with the Irish because they had the accents and how did your band home? Fine, it's fine. What I didn't like either is that, and like my guy at the Phoenix Landing, who was Sean, I think, who was a great guy, just a great guy. All the girls I was hanging out with would all like these Irish guys, because they were like stoic, strong, and they had great accents. Like, I don't need this, but they were just fine. I've had some.
So what exactly is your problem with Irish people?
I forgot what it is. Oh yeah, you know what it is? It's mostly like Irish Massachusetts people, not necessarily off the boat folks who have always been great to me. I've only embarrassed myself in front of them. I'm thinking more times when, like, I've had friends who, when the Irish guy was playing, like, handed me his guitar in front of whole bars, and I didn't know how to, like, play or. Oh, I apologize to everybody. Oh God, I really should have died in a manhole explosion in the 91. The world would be a better place. So my problem is white politician, Irish guy, Tommy Finneran, the Bulgers, and that hearing the Boston Irish accent stuff, I was like, ugh. And all the double speak of the politicians, and just like they were Sullivan, like the Irish who were proud of it. It's like you get my Irish up now. It's enough from you. I don't even. I'm going down to McGonagall's later. We're gonna do those. All right, fine. Because I'm intimidated, I'll also do a Boston Irish accent while you're around because I don't want you to hurt me. But I'm thinking bad things about you. But mostly it's the Boston Irish thing. What was else? There was one other problem. I don't know what my problem is. I think that's it. I think that's it. I'm
You
tired.
don't like potatoes.
I'm going to talk to my guy Steve Snow about this. Steve Show about this today. And I used to work with Mike Snow. Is Steve Show about this today? He loves potatoes. And okay, he's a great guy. He's made many more good decisions than I have. It's becomes immediately obvious. But you're fighting, if you're eating potatoes, you are in chief competition in the dry storeroom with the rats. And so I think that we should try to up our palate game so that we're not eating the rat food. There is, as a fat guy myself.
I like potatoes a lot in many forms.
We rarely have them, Alice. As a fat guy myself, you like them in chip form mostly. As a fat guy myself, I will tell you that like potatoes with cream cheese, with sour cream, chives or whatever, dill.
When I made
butter.
The twice baked potatoes, that was a winner.
I mean, that's a winner. Of course, you've got total body paralysis after that, and you can't do anything. So that's what it was. I also there was this. This kills me. This kills me. We used to work, when I worked at the concierge desk, there was a whole bunch of front desk girls who were Irish, right off the boat Irish. Mm-hmm. I didn't have time for a lot of them. Some were interesting. You know, the ones that were hot were more interesting. There was this one who was this raven black Irish hair. Easy. This girl had raven black Irish hair, and she was nice, and she'd always like say, how are you, Tom? Good morning, Tom. You were out with your boys last night, your man last night, have fun. And she was nice, and she just was a woman of few words, but she was raven gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And I never thought anything of it. I thought she's obviously out of my league. And whatever, you know, here and there, we got along with some of the Irish. So then one day during work, she said, "Are you going to whatever's party in Jamaica Plain, whatever?" And I said, "Oh, I hadn't heard. I guess I will." And for the rest of the shift, she was like all like into me. Mm-hmm. And I remember telling guys I worked with, like, "Do you think? Am I imagining this?" Because she's like really interested in me today, and it could have been that I was such a force for negativity, having worked at the hotel for so long, that it might have just she had been maybe through every other personality type. She thought, "What a miserable a-hole! What is an American miserable a-hole like to date?" And so it was just that I had done enough. I had done enough shifts as a concierge and a front desk guy that I was just done. And so there were times that I would start checking in, yeah, the Silverstein or whatever, Smith checking in, and they would say, yeah, we did order 2 double non-smokings, but I want there to be a junior suite upgrade. I think we are Omni, whatever, and if you can't do it, that's fine. I would like to get in touch with somebody for corporate. And a couple times towards the end of my tenure, I would walk away. I would just walk out the back door and go out to the loading dock and just start smoking. And not come back, and I didn't care. And so, like, I thought about it. Somebody brought it up and said, "I can't believe you did that." And I thought, and I forgot. I said, "Wow, I really was just walking out." I would look at them, and I'm unable to say anything. After a while, you're unable to say anything, and just nothing. And I just go and just walk. And they'd be like, I was being helped. I think I'm being helped. I think I'm being helped. And then I just wouldn't come back. And I'd walk through the financial district or whatever, and just walk around and smoke. And it was not a problem. But I think that there is a certain kind of woman who sees that and doesn't realize that I'm really, really dead inside, and I'm in my dead-end job, and I'm not happy.
Thinks it's some form of rebellious humor.
Thinks it's like extremely like, wow, he's a badass. Look at that. Right. And so this woman, this kills me. This kills me because Mike is involved in this. Mike, who was there with Paul, who kissed me. Mm-hmm. This kills me. This beautiful woman who worked at the front desk, I think she was one of those who eventually said, "You know what? He's interesting." So we go to this party. Mm-hmm. She's there. A guy who likes her is there. And this is the story of Tom Shattuck's life. This has happened more than once. So this guy who's Irish as well is pining after her. She's talking to me. She's having a drink. She's having fun, and she's looking into my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this is great. She's like, in the gene pool wise, she's excellent. This is great. And she was obviously into me. But this guy wouldn't leave us alone. Everywhere she and I walked, he would stick with this and ask her questions, this, that. And she'd be like, Tim, you gotta go get a drink or something. Try to go out, see if Lonnie's over there. And he wouldn't. He just couldn't stop. He would always be around us. I'm like, oh, frig with this guy. And like we'd go out to smoke and bang, there was Tim again, like, constantly. Like everywhere I went, this little guy was following me everywhere. And I remember telling Mike, this dude will not leave me the F alone, won't leave us alone. He's so worried about her hooking up. He so is into being this cockblock that this guy's like ruining this night. And she keeps apologizing. I'm sorry, Vermin. He's obviously like he's attached to me. I'm like, oh. So, and I'm telling Mike sees this, and Mike was a better person than I was, because if Mike ever hooked up with somebody, I was mad and envious. She obviously liked me, and Mike was like, good for you. So, frigging this kid, Tim, eventually, it's 2 hours into this thing, and I'm like, this guy sucks. Mm-hmm. And she felt bad for him, whatever. I didn't say anything, really, whatever. Maybe I said a little something, I don't know. And I just said, eventually, I said, okay, I'm going to leave. Do you want to come with me or whatever? And he's like right there. He's like, no, Libby, you have to come in. Like, just leave me alone. And so I go and I get a cab and I go home. The moment I go home, Tim goes home and Mike hooks up with her.
Wow.
Yes. So that is not cool. And that started that didn't start, but that was a big problem.
Wow.
Just absolutely wasted a horrible night, and that's why I hate the Irish. And by the way, we actually made legislation. Our group of friends made legislation for that. We called that a coffee, which was a capital offense now.
Oh, why is it called a coffee?
It was called a coffee. The coffee is coveting of a failed investment. So if your buddy works on somebody all night and it's not working out, you can't swoop in. And that's not how it works. No. It needs to be a cooling off period.
Splash in the chat says all your stories seem to end with, I was about to take this beautiful girl home until extenuating circumstances beyond my control intervened.
That is possible. It is possible that the whole time she just thought I was a gregarious gay guy and was like, wow, he's like really sensitive about my boyfriend here who's trying to hang out with us. Yeah, I'm sorry. So that's the only thing I have for that. I think I also went to Patty. No, I went to the Kells, and I had some bad experiences. One time at the Kells, I was with some friends and like who are listening to this right now probably, and I didn't feel good. And they're like, Tom, you got to come out. You know, we'll have a shot of rum. It'll make you feel good. And so I said, remember the Kells was a bar in Brighton, packed with hot 90s girls with little backpacks on and Rachel haircuts. It was packed. It was no movie in there. And anyway, my friends told me to have a shot of rum. I had a shot of rum. Immediately, I knew there was problems happening. And I tried to run down down the stairs, which was packed with people, to go down to a bathroom and throw up. I couldn't get down there, and I projectile vomited into the air, and it landed on everybody on the stairs. And people were screaming. It sounded like there was a shooting happening. People were screaming and panicking, and there was nothing. And the staff, it was such an uproar. I'd ruined so many nights there because of what happened. The staff saw it, and they took me and threw me and my friend into a handicap bathroom and said, wait here. It's not safe for you guys to come out, because people I had ruined 500 nights, or at least 100 nights, just throwing up pure vomit on everybody. And they had to move people out, and then they took me and my friend out after they moved people. People were ripshit, were very angry. And so they moved us out of, they grabbed us after they cordoned off the area and moved us out the back door where the loading dock was, and told us to run down the alley and go. And it was like, I saw this guy 10 years later, and he was surprised I showed up. He's like, I remember you from that night. I'm surprised you still come out. Like, hey, I don't know, whatever. But another time at the Kells, I did this thing.
So, how was that something the Irish did to you?
It was an Irish-based trauma. This is actually all coming out now. This is good. Another thing I did at the Kells one time was there was this, they had this giveaway where they're going to give away a free thing to, oh, that's right, the free trip to Ireland, Okay? So you had to join this thing for a free trip to Ireland in a raffle and buy drinks or whatever. So I do all that stuff. I didn't really care to go to Ireland. I was not going to go to Ireland. I was doing stuff in Boston, and it was anything else would have. So anyway, the night rolls on, and I see these big posters. Ireland versus Argentina. It's the whatever cup game, FIFA thing, whatever. And so the night goes on and goes on and goes on and goes on, and the night starts getting tight, as we say. As it's like close to 2 o'clock, and they say, "Okay, we're going to give away the trip to Ireland, the round trip airfare to Ireland." And they say, "Tom Shattuck," and I'm like, "Oh, awesome!" So I get up to I get up on stage, I grab my thing and say, "Thank you." I grab the microphone because I'm going to be Mr. Charisma now, which is a really smart thing to do. So I grab the mic and say, "Ireland's going to kick Argentina's ass." Does the microphone speed back? Nothing at all. I'm looking for validation, and there's nothing. And I gave the guy the mic back, and the guy next to him said, "They played hours ago. Ireland lost 7-0. It's like, yeah, okay. Yay! Mr. Puke guy. So anyways, that's why I hate the Irish. They did that to me. All those things.
Well, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
So you consider getting to celebrate St. Patrick's Day like almost a revenge move.
It is revenge.
Like you're taking something back.
I'm going back to that bar where I puked on everyone. Just think, there are moms, maybe even grandmothers now, who were 22 at the time.
That's like the worst thing that ever happened to them. They still look back on that.
Who still like can't like really. They'll never like wear their Jennifer haircuts again. They'll never like that night like was ruined. Maybe they would have been in love with somebody. Just ruined. They'll never know why they were assaulted. Like
Phil in the chat says maybe you should save your drunk binges for Arbor Day because St. Patrick's Day might be too traumatic for you.
That's a good point. What is Arbor Day? Is that
it's
about
like for trees.
Oh, is it really?
It's like to plant a tree or something, I think.
Yeah. So I think that's all I have on that. Yeah. Yeah. I think I mentioned one time that, and then my tenure with the Irish girls at work ended after 9/11. They, me and my friend Mike, who's back here again, who coffeed me that night. We brought a bunch of them, the front desk girls, to my apartment. My brother and I had a big bachelor pad. And it was after 9/11, like a couple weeks, whatever. And they're all getting drunk. And they all decide, they all are like, they all start downing on George Bush. Like, George W. Bush won't do anything. He's nothing. He's useless for these people. He's not. And I had it. So I did a Alice Shattuck when there's a fire in the house. What do you say?
GTFO?
I was get the fuck out. So I yelled at them to get out of the house. I screamed at them to get out of the house. That ended my tenure being a friend to the Irish. They all left. Me and Mike decided to go get laid in Stowe, Vermont instead. So we jumped in the car, drove 3.5 hours towards Stowe, Vermont, got the car stuck in mud. Mike called for a helicopter rescue. The state police and everybody looked for us the next day. We had walked down a trail to try to find civilization. The state police then found the car empty, called his mother in Dorchester and said, "We found his car and some of his belongings, but we don't find him." She assumed he was dead. His father was about to drive up there. It's all...
Well, you'll be pleased to know that CBS thinks Trump is going to start deporting the Irish. So
let's go. Yeah.
They have a whole piece about it. This is from CBS News. This is their festive St. Patrick's Day piece because they can't like be normal now.
Right.
They write.
Oh, isn't that hilarious that they're doing the Irish for St. Patrick's Day? Yeah, that's awesome.
So to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, CBS News, to be topical and relevant, is talking about how Trump is going to deport all the Irish people.
Oh, that's great. Imagine you go in there like this Saturday and there's no Irish music.
There's
nothing.
Dun.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We'll just have to put on the River Dance from 1994 because all the musicians have been shipped away.
But listen to this article. They run businesses. They tend bars. They pay taxes. While they are in the U.S.
Can I stop for a second? There's no way. There's no way that the author of this article does not try to signal to us that you should care about these people because... What else are they, Alice?
White.
Exactly.
Well,
no. Before you click away,
well,
you should scroll down for a picture of one, please. This is how they look, okay?
Listen to the next sentence. They run businesses. They tend bars. They pay taxes. While they are in the U.S. illegally, they are largely spared the scrutiny of that label. But they still live in fear. They are the thousands of undocumented Irish immigrants in America today.
I'll give the Irish one thing that I've met. They were not in fear.
They weren't living in fear of Donald Trump.
No, they were living 76 to one bedroom, but not in fear.
Recent estimates from the Irish government suggest there are as many as 10,000 undocumented Irish immigrants across the United States. Many have lived in the shadows for decades, waiting for a pathway to citizenship that may never come. And
if that's the shadows, Alice, that is one fun shadows, man. These people living in the shadows, loudly watching World Cup soccer illegally at 5 a.m. at every Irish bar in Boston, spilling out into the street. That's the shadows, huh? Jesus.
Yeah, they've lived there for decades. And with a new president that has vowed to carry out the largest deportation operation in U.S. history, anxieties have been heightened. It's definitely a concern, definitely a worry, Mary, an undocumented Irish immigrant in New England, told CBS News.
Mary.
I've heard of different people, getting caught up in a
Just in case, by the way, Mary's Irish. Mary's name is Mary. Okay? Do you get it now? Okay? Her name is Mary. The chances now are 0.001 that she's anything but white. Blue-eyed, Irish, good looks,
I bet
porcelain
you didn't
skin.
think Trump was going to deport these people.
Right? Yep. They came for you guys, too. First they came from Maria, and you said nothing.
I've heard of different people, getting caught up in a swoop of undocumented people. Some of them may be criminals, but some of them may not be. And it's just a situation of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Mary and others interviewed for this story asked that their full names not be used to maintain their anonymity. While Mary fears for her own status, she says communities of color are bearing the brunt of President Trump's immigration crackdown, while she can somewhat fly under the radar. There's some very hardworking people that have set up businesses and are employing people, and all of a sudden...
Look, illegals. How do you know? They ain't white. Grab 'em.
Aisling,
what about this one? No, that's Mary.
I'm going to say this name wrong, I'm sure. Aisling, A-I-S-L-I-N-G. But the Irish names are never pronounced like you.
That's another problem I have. Friggin' porrig.
Siobhan.
Siobhan is okay, because the Siobhan in my class was beautiful. Remember the one I wrote tonight's note, too?
Serja?
There's no Serja.
Yeah, it's spelled like S-A-O-I, all kinds of things. Aisling, I'm guessing, an undocumented Irish waitress in Chicago who's lived in America for 8 years, says that while she's concerned she may become a collateral damage target for the administration, ICE raids in her neighborhood have targeted predominantly Latino communities, something she condemns as racist.
Let's grab Aisling, shall we, in heave-ho.
If ICE were to walk into my work, I could just blend in with the crowd. The fear for me is being pulled over or being in the wrong place at the wrong time. CBS
the
News
Browns,
reached
in
out
other words,
to Homeland Security.
Aisling is saying, in other words, like, the Browns can't blend. They don't have the talent.
Mick, who arrived in New York from...
Oh, my God. Jesus. Should we be hearing this?
Who arrived
Mick
in New
is
York.
literally a slur.
Who arrived in New York from Ireland in 2000 said the public treatment of the Irish people in the U.S. was in many ways the opposite of what other nationalities face.
Mick.
I used to find it quite unfair hearing how locals would speak about these immigrants coming here. I'd have to remind them, hey guys, I'm an immigrant too. The attitude, he says, was, yeah, but you're different.
Mick's best friend, Patty Celtic, also had concerns. Mick
was undocumented the first few years he lived in the U.S., but he's now a citizen and describes himself as a proud New Yorker. He says there's much broader fear among immigrant communities now during the second Trump administration. Sierra, who arrived in the U.S. before President Trump took office, was on a J-1 visa, which allows for educational and cultural exchange, but is working illegally on the side. And she says there's a bit of a safety net for Irish people in the hospitality industry.
There is.
It's definitely a worry, but I'm definitely very privileged as well. I'm a white Irish girl with a third-level college education, so I think I'm in a lot more secure position to a lot of other people who are undocumented.
Toss her immediately. Kick that door down. Toss her immediately.
I'm undocumented, but I don't count because I'm white and have a college degree.
Toss them all. Toss them all. Absolutely. By the way, there is a draft lottery system for the Irish. There was also a very deep work work apprentice, whatever it was called back then. I'm sure it's the same now.
Yeah. This guy, Tom, a New York bar owner and legal resident in Manhattan, told CBS News he's employed many undocumented Irish workers, and he couldn't
Tommy O'Hurley.
And he couldn't operate as a business owner without them. He says 90% of the restaurants and small businesses would close down if you took away the undocumented immigrants.
By the way, all of these guilty Irish people can just self-deport. I mean, if you feel so bad that you're blending in like this, Isley and Mick can just go. Tom won't miss it. This Tom won't miss it. It'll be fine.
So, yeah. So, basically, this is how CBS is celebrating St. Patrick's Day. But it's because they're all, like, unhinged. They can't go out for a beer on St. Patrick's Day without making it about how Trump's going to do something to hurt them. And is causing fear and instability and all this horrible stuff. It's all... But, I mean, like, we see it. We have a friend in town who's always been, like, a nice guy and seemingly kind of reasonable and never would, like, post about politics or say anything about politics. I mean, some people always were just, like, activists, you could tell. But no, he's just, like, somehow is having some kind of mental break and has latched on to all this Trump resistance stuff somehow.
I'm worried about people.
He's, like, hashtag free Mahmoud Khalil or whatever that guy is. And I mean, this is the hill you want to die on? The terrorist supporting kill all the Jews guy? Like that's too far a line for you? Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand. Like, and people are saying like freedom of speech, if they can do it to him, they can do it to... You know what? There is a substantive difference between, like, punishing bad people and punishing good people.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to... I do actually think that people who support terrorists, it's okay to not give them green cards.
Yep.
And, like, that doesn't mean that it's okay if we, like, don't give people green cards for criticizing Joe Biden or something.
Yes.
You know, because one's good and one's bad. Like, it just... We have to have some kind of reasonable line where it's like, well, we have to import a bunch of terrorist sympathizers here because, well, freedom of speech. Like, no, it doesn't work like this. Freedom of speech doesn't mean we have to let terrorists in. It just doesn't. And I don't understand the need to defend this dude in particular of all the people in the world. Like, you could have done all this freedom of speech. I can't believe they're unfairly punishing people for all kinds of people that you disagreed with during the Trump administration. Where was all this energy for, I'll defend to the death your right to say it,
right,
back when Trump was being persecuted and all the members of his administration? Where was this energy for, like, Michael Flynn and all that? No. There was none of that. It was throw the book at everybody. Where was this energy for the January 6th people?
Totally.
You know, like, well, I might disagree with them, but, like, obviously none of these people believes a word that they're saying about themselves where they're like, well, I might disagree with this terrorist supporting a-hole who wants to kill Jews, but, you know, like, we do have freedom of speech. You didn't have that for January 6th, so
no,
I mean,
you're
like,
on probation
so
if you've got a green card. You're on probation in Sign R. Just go, and you can take Aisley with you, and all the other, and Tom and Mick, and
yeah. If everybody is so upset and thinks America is so racist and terrible, like, you can just leave. That's fine. You're here illegally, and we're racist. And, like, what, you want me to be upset about you getting deported? Why exactly?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't get it. All this, like, quote me to the newspaper because Trump is so racist and deporting people is mean. And, like, sorry, this immigration system doesn't have to work this way.
No.
If you hate it here, then we don't have to burden you with having to be here.
Mm-hmm.
That's, like...
Totally agree.
And, I mean, like, believe me, I wish we could deport some of the people who also seem to hate it here, like Rosie O'Donnell and stuff. Like, I mean, some of them are self-deporting, which is nice. But, like, if you hate America this much, then you can just leave. Like, you're free to go. It's fine. And, you know, I don't know. Stephen King today was tweeting, where is his stupid tweet? They're just all mentally ill.
Hey, I want to make an addendum to
Stephen
something.
King tweeted out, "Hey, MAGAs, having buyer's remorse yet?" And then like laughing emojis. Like nobody has buyer's remorse. Nobody's upset.
No.
Nothing's happening.
No. No, there's nothing.
What is there to have buyer's remorse about? Like literally nothing's going on. Nothing has impacted my day-to-day at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
Is something happening that I don't know about? Like, I know I haven't been paying that much attention to the news, but mostly I'm just like going to work and doing my thing and life is normal.
No, I totally agree.
Having buyer's remorse? Ha-ha! Like, wait, I don't. And like, they're working themselves up in ways that is like only hurting them.
Alice, just imagine had Democrats been, I think I said this last night, had Congress. Mm-hmm. We would have been on the 35th impeachment now. Mm-hmm. And it would have been, this is tearing our democracy down. Blank is tearing our democracy. The next day, blank is tearing our democracy. And it'll be a new niche thing every 2 days. This is it. Our democracy has been torn asunder. You can't fire a USAID people. Those are torn asunder. Oh, I didn't get into Harvard. Somebody said I didn't get into the Harvard Extension, whatever school, because they said uncertainty happening. I don't care. God damn. It's like the entitlement of people that we're always going to get in all the things we want to get in. And it really does go along class lines, too, which is very, very interesting. Mm-hmm. Whatever. The administration said it's going to go in and do stuff. It's going to go in and do stuff. If you're new to this, Donald Trump is different than all the other presidents. If you're new to this. Now, nobody, especially no adult, should be new to this. He's different than everybody. He's an otter duck. He's on some kind of spectrum. He's got a lizard brain. He has an odd sense of humor. He has an odd sense of style. And yes, he's going to do stuff different than everybody ever did it. But people elected him because despite all that stuff, he was good at the job. The last guy sucked.
Yeah. Well, and Splash raises a point in the chat that the stock markets have been tanking. And that's,
sure, of course.
I mean, yeah. I do think that doesn't really affect most people's day if they don't look. And like, the stock market also, when Trump was first elected, tanked. Remember that? Yeah, but I think that it's going to be fine and the markets will recover just fine. And like, I don't think
but no, I think it's valid to worry about the stock market because the guy's saying 1,000 different things and it creates uncertainty. So these people don't know whether or not to spend money or to invest in their own businesses. They don't know what to do because it's getting chaotic. But Trump is also checking in with the stock guys. He's also making little addendums and tweaks along the way. He sees this stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think it'll be all just fine. And I also think, regardless of what we're told about the Dow, what's happening and this reactionary stuff that's happening, I think Wall Street effing loves Trump. And they know that he is creating a glide path for them to just freaking roar down the runway.
Well, yeah. And I also just think like that for most people, what the stock market's doing doesn't really affect their day to day.
Yeah, if you're... Yeah.
No, I mean, if you were planning to cash out of, like, big funds right now, but... And I know people's retirement accounts are in there. I technically have some small amount of retirement money in there. But I don't really, like, look at that right now, day to day. Mm-hmm. And I don't think most people do. And it's going to recover. Like, in the longer term, it always goes up. So, yeah, if you were going to cash out of something like this week, it does impact you. But I don't think that's most people's situation. I think if most people just turn off the news and go about their life, then, like, none of this is going to affect them.
Well, yeah, and going back to what you said about people acting out badly. So Trump is now going back and forth with Putin. Mm-hmm. Putin's obviously jerking around a little bit, saying he doesn't want to have any NATO presence in Ukraine, and he's not going to have this. He's not going to have that. So the conversations are now happening. This is where you have to start. Mm-hmm. And Trump is talking tough to Putin. He's talking tough to Zelensky. They're like everybody. It's on now. It's on. Mm-hmm. The actual negotiations.
He's presidenting.
The negotiations are on. It's happening. And for you to say we're destroying, we're as a country we've abandoned our core values. Our guy like Zelensky, we've abandoned him and left all Zelensky to Putin. No. 4 months ago, you should have been upset. Because 4 months ago, Ukraine is getting pounded. Putin is making incursions. Putin is is undergirding his forces with more shells, more explosives, and more troops, and there's no end. It's just going to be a killing field more. And you were fine with that day today.
Right.
Yeah, just 10,000 more Ukrainians died. No, it's fine.
Well, yeah, because it's not actually, none of this is actually affecting you at all. Which is like, and especially the day that the U.S. agrees to a deal that reduces tariffs on U.S. goods, the market will go up 2,000 points, which is true. Like, this is a negotiation tactic thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be fine in the long term. Just set it and forget it with your retirement money and go about your life. Everything is fine. Like, nothing's happening to you. It's not like in the Biden administration when people literally couldn't go to the grocery store and buy stuff without massive sticker shock every time you bought anything because we had like 10+% inflation for years. Like, it was crazy. You know, your paycheck really didn't go as far. It's not like in Massachusetts where dumb decisions literally made by these exact people are causing me to have $1,000 gas bill this month. Like, that affects my real life.
Also, Alice, it is not a good sign that, and I think people we know will be doing this very shortly, where people feel it's okay to literally attack Teslas because you're transforming from quiet, compassionate, suburban head of household into a kind of a terrorist. And that's not good because once you do an action item like that, you don't stop.
Right.
You've got it. It's like making out with your neighbor's wife. Once you do it once, it's always there, and it's interesting, intriguing, and it's adventurous. And that's the thing with this terrorist stuff. The same, tossing a rock through a Tesla window. Once you do it once, it's not going to end. Especially if it's giving you meaning and purpose, which somehow it is to these people who have no real other thing. And so that's why this stuff could ramp up. I seriously think it's easy to think that there could be it's already happening. The Weather Underground stuff is already happening. They're blowing up Tesla stuff.
Because they're telling themselves that all this stuff is happening to them. That's not happening to them. Did you see the Lawrence O'Donnell clip I sent us?
Yes.
He was on Rachel Maddow's show last night. This is where he's at mentally right now.
Give me a second.
Because they're like imagining this world that's not happening. And it's causing them more problems than it's causing anybody else.
Right. And they're trying to show you that I'm going to emotionally perform my own aneurysm in front of you because you're not listening to anything else I say. You're not getting it. Okay. So this is what I do. I'm going to pretend I'm having my own aneurysm in front of you. Tomorrow, if you're still not getting it, I'm going to blow my brains out. And hopefully you'll get it.
Rachel, I know you've pledged to cover and be here for the first 100 days of the Trump presidency. I hope you noticed that I did not make that same pledge when you did.
Nobody noticed. Nobody noticed that you didn't make the same pledge. She is just trying to get out of here. She's like, it's the crossover. Let me get me back to Springfield, Mass, to my mansion.
You're not going anywhere, are you?
Well, here's the thing. This is day 52. I thought it was day 92. It turns out it's day 52, Rachel, and I'm exhausted at day 52. And so I'm going to take next week off. And I'm telling you that now because I know you don't like it when I just drift away, and I don't. But
no.
Just taking next week off. Then I can come back and go with you all the way to the 100 days. And
I know we all tell each other you have to take care of yourself, you got to pace yourself, you got to be in this for the long haul, and so I can't hold it against you, but I'm very sad.
Can you hold this against me? I'm going to get a head start by taking tomorrow off.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you might.
I can hold against you.
I thought you might, Rachel.
Yeah, okay, I'm pre-mad right now.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's not even tomorrow yet. Yep.
Yeah, that's why.
Take me. Can I go with you? Where are you going? Don't tell me where you're going.
You said 100 days. You said 100 days. You can't. 100 days. On the 101st day.
You know, the moment he 5 years ago did stop the hammering, like fit this guy for a vest, put him in a room, put him in a padded room. You know, for when it's 15 years ago when he's like, so tag Romney, tag it. Where I'm from, we are tough. I'm from Boston. Okay. Please help these freaking people. You know what's interesting? I'm sure, I don't know if you guys listen at all or watch. I don't watch any Fox News, but I listen to the 5 for the news the next day. Just to see nationally like what they're hitting and if I'm missing anything, whatever. And it's the only news show at all on TV. The one there's like 200 news shows on TV. It's the only one where they're having a good time, and they've got chemistry, they've got timing, and they're tight. It's the only one. They're politically incorrect all the time. The jokes are edging. They're having fun. They do dissection.
And by the way, they're not one-sided. They have a liberal.
They've got a liberal. Tarlov, she does a good job for a progressive, also sexy. Harold Washington, I wouldn't even mind if they doubled it up and made more progressives on there. But all this other TV sucks. I hope if you like listening to the Five, it is such a good variety show. It really is. But there's nobody else is having. Maddo's not having fun. Lawrence O'Donnell's not having fun. They've never had fun.
He's so not having fun that he couldn't make it through 100 days of the Trump administration. At 52 days, he's burnt out from being so freaked out.
And remember, this is a member of the media, somebody who's supposed to be like a war correspondent, who's supposed to be able to handle this.
Yeah, no. And literally nothing's happening to him, but he has to let us know that he has to take time off to take care of himself because this is just too much right now. Can
I get hired for one of these jobs? Jesus, you could.
Everyone's correcting you and saying Harold Ford Jr., not Harold Washington.
Oh, did I say Harold Washington? I'd take it. Who's Harold Washington? Who's Harold Washington? Harold Washington.
I don't know.
Not okay.
I don't watch like any TV, so I don't know.
Harold Ford Jr., who I like a lot. I think he's a great guy. Who's Harold Washington? Is that the former mayor?
Harold Washington was a former mayor of Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. Okay. Okay.
Says the chat.
Damn. It's funny because
maybe you need time off.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. By the way, we should talk about that at some point. If we're going to on our road trip do shows, I
think we should skip it for that.
We probably should. It's going to be it's next month. It's a long story. Yeah, it's funny because the third name I was coming up with was Eugene Robinson. Now I've picked like 3 different black men. It's like I know it's a black. All right. Do we have any chat chest messages? Okay. Have we managed to do 45 minutes of something that's not a show? The chat. By the way, I want to commend you guys for yesterday's chat. Yesterday's chat was the entire show. The show, if you're one of these people who listens, but then you don't want to listen and bail at the chat, yesterday, the show started at the chat. It was the me and Alice sideshow. Hello, my baby. This horse bleep. The chat was everything. So please think about it. These guys are on point. I mean, they're all wrong about so much. And Steve from Merrimack's Embrace of Glass Tiger is freaking embarrassing.
Depeche Mode.
Don't say Depeche Mode.
Isn't that how you pronounce it?
No.
How do you say
Jesus.
it?
It's just Depeche Mode. By the way, they act. What is wrong with you? What were you guys doing in the 80s? The only thing I'll say is this: is that like you're all wrong about the 80s music. You're so wrong. I will say one asterisk.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way they were getting laid less than me. So that's not possible. Physically, it's not possible at all.
You can't get negative laid.
Right. I went through the 80s unscathed. So maybe it's a thing where they like actually getting action, and so your experiences are different. And yeah, had any of the fine beauties in Winchester High liked me and wanted me to get into Depeche Mode, I would not have had a problem with that. But I didn't. I sat in my basement, angry, hearing the noises of their loud cars full of fun people. Okay, are we ready?
Oh, someday we'll have to talk about that song. What's the song that you always yell at me about? You look wonderful tonight.
Don't. Oh, that's an Irish girl named Mary, as a matter of fact. An Irish girl named Mary. Oh, that kills me. They must know that one already.
I don't know that they do.
Oh, Jesus. It's a lot of pain. Oh, a lot of pain.
Don't go to therapy, they said. Do a podcast, they said.
Yeah. Oh, it's awful. You guys will know. We'll talk about it when we're out. When we're out sometime. I don't want. I can't do anymore. I've got enough. I've said enough. But that was Mary. Yep. There you go. You know, I may name this episode after Mary. Thoughts? Maybe I'll give her a call.
Okay.
Mary, I know it's been 30 years. since I first loved you and obsessed about you and embarrassed myself in front of you and embarrassed you really as well. And then 20 years since then, we actually did go out and I destroyed your life and my life and our lives and your family's lives and everybody else's lives and made that uncomfortable. Three's a charm, Mary. Okay, ready? It's a nice name, though.
Maybe
Mary.
Trump will deport her.
Oh, friggin' sayonara, lady. Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear it? It's back. Frig! Okay. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So I saw that Trump gave Chuck Schumer the nickname Palestine, which is obviously a direct hit at Chuck because he's Jewish.
Yep.
And it made me want to revisit the wiki page devoted to Trump nicknames. And I'm wondering if you guys ever saw this list. And if you could tell me your 3 favorite Trump nicknames for people. Obviously, I would go with like Ron DeSanctimonious, which was great. Pocahontas, of course.
Yeah.
Crooked Hillary. I mean, the list goes on, but there's just been so many that you forget that, like Alvin Bragg, for example, he called Fat Alvin. I mean, he's a classic, man. He's definitely a classic, but if you guys could tell me your favorites, that'd be great.
Well, thank you, Steve. I'm just so lucky enough to have married a demure little blonde lady who looks at that list almost daily. Alice, thoughts?
I don't look at it daily. Would you like me to read? It's quite long.
Way to go, Shecky Shattuck.
I'm not a funny person.
No,
so.
you really? You sure?
I apologize to everybody for not being funny at all. I do like Evan McMuffin for Evan McMullen.
You gotta
Remember
like
that
yeah.
guy? I think Bird Brain Nikki Haley was strong.
That was strong.
And I do like Low Energy Jeb, I feel like was a strong one also.
Okay, Alice, you're out. Okay, you happy now?
Okay.
Your part is done.
What are your favorites?
It's funny you say that. Sloppy Chris Christie, Leakin' James Comey, and Shady James Comey were all my 3 favorites. Although I you're usually hogging the laptop, so I never get to spend as much time as I want to. Pocahontas is not a good one because it was Pocahontas, and he mangled it, of course. Pocahontas, fake Indian. You know this is. I did like him calling Ron DeSantis meatball because it's a shot at the Italians, who we'll get to tomorrow. Oh, we're not on tomorrow. We go after the Italians Saturday. I'm not going after the Italians because I love them.
Mm-hmm.
Much
They
better.
brought you tripe.
They brought me tripe. Their women never liked me because they felt I was weak and not worth procreating with, and they were right.
You agree with? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All the men were so hospitable to me, always in the 90s, because they weren't threatened by me at all. At all. And I was nice to their mother in a way that was more articulate than some of the other people who would come around. Okay. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Fat Jerry Nadler. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Give me a second.
Oh my God, Owen!
At least I'm better than him. I think I'm better than him. Okay, Tom, where are we? Okay, here we go. Ready?
I'm ready.
Replica Shattuck. Been a while.
Tom, I don't know what to say, buddy.
What?
But you did it again.
What?
You did it again.
What did I do again?
Depeche Mode.
What?
Depeche Mode.
I didn't
really?
say Depeche Mode. I said Depeche Mode. Depeche Mode. I never said Depeche Mode. There's no way, unless I was overtired, which we have been. There's no way I said Depeche Mode. Oh, that's terrible if I did that. Oh.
Again. You did it again.
Did not say Depeche Mode.
Depeche Mode.
No. Oh, that sucks if I did.
Depeche Mode. Really?
No, I didn't say that right.
You are so right on this.
Thank you.
Depeche Mode effing sucks.
Correct.
Personal Jesus.
Yes.
They are the worst.
Correct.
The worst. And shame on you, Alice, for not being able to name at least one person in Led Zeppelin.
Oh, shit.
Sorry.
Come on, Alice.
I don't know things like that.
Things like that? Oh.
What do you want from me?
Yes or no? I'm going to give you some names of people. You tell me if they were in Led Zeppelin, okay? Here we go. Ready? Yes or no? Just use your gut, Alice. Maybe, you know, you're a physics major. You should probably have some, there's probably some telepathic telekinesis power you have. Okay. Yes or no? In Led Zeppelin, Michael Anthony.
No.
Chris Cornell.
No.
Warren D. Martini.
No.
Steve Perry.
No.
Steve Stevens.
Yes. I don't know.
Okay, that is incorrect. What do you mean, yes, I don't know?
I don't know.
Tom Kiefer.
I don't know if any.
Tom Kiefer.
No.
That is correct. He's not. John Paul Jones.
No.
He is indeed. Was indeed in Led Zeppelin.
Oh.
Let's see. Jeff Beck.
Why are you nodding? He is in Led Zeppelin?
Your answer?
You're nodding. Are you trying to trick me?
I would. No, just take my hand, young lady. Come with me. That's fine. I'm going to this unmarked van over here. Are you sure?
No.
Just follow me into the van. It's gonna be fine.
Sorry.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, who did you say?
I said no.
No to who?
I don't remember.
Okay. I'm not even sure. All right, Brian May.
No.
That's correct. So far you're getting most of these right.
Well, because
Jimmy Page.
oh, someone said that in the chat. So yes.
What is this
I'm
shit?
gonna go with that.
Oh, that's pathetic. That is pathetic. Oh, John Bonham. Stop looking at the chat, you weasel.
Yes.
Oh, you guys are fucking pathetic. All of you guys helping her, you pussies. I worked at Herald Radio, and I found, because this is what I do for a living, I found a way to drive out of the parking lot without paying, because you had to pay for the parking lot. It was in a big field in Southie. And I found a way, if you go zigzag, zigzag behind this barrier, I could get out and escape into like L Street, wherever I was escaping to. And I remember I told a couple of guys I work with, I say, hey, dude, let me tell you this. This will save you $15 a day. There's a way to get out. Don't freaking tell anybody. This will be ruined for everybody. All of them told Jen Royal because she's hot. They all told her how to get out. And of course, once you told her, she told everybody else, and it was freaking, there was a big memo. People have been escaping out of the back of the... Guys, that's who you are. You guys had to tell Jen Royal. Stop it. God.
No, Splash, I actually do like the Beatles. Splash is saying I think the Beatles are Donatello, Michelangelo, Leonardo, and Raphael. I actually do like the Beatles, and I actually did watch the Ninja Turtles, too. So
We don't do the Ninja Turtles in this
okay,
family.
well, just saying. So, but
Can
I
you-
actually do like, I can actually name the Beatles. So
Can you name John Lennon's original and new middle name?
no. I don't know his original and new middle name. No.
His original one was named after a prime minister of England.
Churchill? I don't
Winston. John Winston Lennon.
know. Okay.
Who he changed to a Japanese psychotic.
John
Oh, no.
Ono Lennon?
Correct. All right. But take that back, by the way, if Sean Lennon is listening, because we love Sean Lennon. I take that back, Sean. Sorry. My mother's also psychotic in Japanese.
Your mom's not
Taoiseach
Japanese.
is a Irish term, and so is Pogue Mahone,
Pogue Mahone.
which I'm sure you're going to be hearing a lot of now that you've insulted all the Irish people.
That was before tonight's. I think tonight's actually might be a hate crime. I hate that little dude that did the cock blocking.
And I'm pretty sure you know what that means.
Pogue Mahone? I don't know what that means. I've seen Shane, the Pogue guy, Shane McAllister, Shane McGavin, Shane. Oh God, come on! I've seen Shane McGavin. I've seen him in concert. I don't know what Pogue Mahone is. I don't know that first word, which is the word that yesterday's thing was called.
Also, I don't know why you think you stepped out of the gay line because Glass Tiger, really?
Well,
Really?
actually, I actually posted some of their video today. That's uneffing.
Shane McGowan.
Shane McGowan. There you go. Mm-hmm. That's uneffing believable that Glass Tiger, like that somebody didn't beat them to death and feed them into a tree shredder. Wow, they were into it.
Oh man, your musical interests are right on par with your memory for actors and their names. Alice, name every English actor. Name them.
I don't think we forgot any. Oh, the guy who played Doctor Who. That's Tom Baker. There you go, mother effer.
Other people played Doctor Who too.
The only one that counts is Tom Baker.
Okay.
Other people played Doctor Who. Oh God, you nerd.
1:15 and you're in your kitchen. You've eaten spicy food, now your rear end's twitching. You stumble to the bathroom like a man without pity. Why'd you eat that stuff? This won't be pretty. Baby, just take a seat. Don't regret the things you eat.
I don't know that song. I don't know that song. But was that is that related to something? Was there an eating situation? I don't even remember. Or maybe there was. I don't know. Both Alice and I believe we may have stroked out. I'll tell you one thing that we need to find, guys. That if you were around this area, I bet you Tommy from New Hampshire probably knows. And even actually, you know what? If he's from Lynn, Steve Show would know. BCN had a parody song about Revere Beach in the late 80s called Go Guido, Go Guido, Go. We need to find that. Once again, to tax the Italians. Doesn't really matter, does it? Everything's fine. Everything's fine. How about Robert Plant, Ellis?
No.
Was not in Led Zeppelin, you're saying?
No.
Correct.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening and bearing with me. I'm sorry I don't know stuff and I'm not funny, and I don't have to be on the show. I mean, it's okay. I'm not offended, but I apologize to everyone. But if you, for some reason, want to join our show, you can go on Patreon and you can join and you can be in the live chat every day. If you like listening for free, you can go to burnbarrelpodcast.com.
C'est La Vie.
From the mind of Mindy Kaling,